Hello everyone, Scott Sylvan Bell coming to you live from Poipu, Kauai. It is April 22nd, 2015, 3:50 in the afternoon. I want to share a concept with you that's really going to help when you're dealing with somebody who is stumbling or you know, throwing the anchor out so they don't have to make a decision, okay? Now, part of this is going to take some effort on your part, and it's going to take some work for you to think about how to do it, but I want to share this concept with you. So there's always an additional cost for waiting. There's always an additional cost for waiting. So there's got to be a way for you in your process to explain what that additional cost is going to be. Now, people tend to think that like, hey, look, if I make this decision later, there's not ever going to be any more costs. There's always going to be a sell, which is true. But like, okay, so I work in a lot of home services, and a lot of people will say, well, I don't want to fix my roof just yet, or my plumbing, or my heating and air, or my electrical. And the problem now is small, and then all of a sudden it expands. So the best way for you to think of this is kind of like a cavity in a tooth. And I love to use this example because people understand it, and anybody who's had a cavity knows what kind of pain it is, right? So when somebody says, hey, you know, I don't have to do this project just yet, you know, and here's, they give all the reasons. Well, previous in the very beginning, somewhere over here, because now we're over here, they go through the process, and then I'm saying, hey, you know what? A lot of times people will tell me, hey, they want to wait, or they want to think about it. It's like a cavity in a tooth. So I made the conversation happen over here, and then so they get to the very end and they're like, you know what, I really want to hold back. I've got my own stuff going on, whatever reason's going on. Okay, hey, you know what? This is kind of like that thing that I shared you about an hour ago, that it's kind of like a cavity in a tooth. Things typically don't get better from here, they typically get worse. And like, just pause, and here's what happens is a lot of times you're gonna see the wheels moving forward in their head, right? Because a lot of times when somebody has an objection, it's just nervous energy. Not all the time do they mean it. So a lot of times salespeople do the wrong thing by reacting to it and freaking out over it, when all they got to do is just sit there and let it go for a little bit longer, let the information stew, and let that person then like, oh, okay, I get it, now I understand. So, you know, when you start the conversation over here at like 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:10, 8:15, by the time that you get to 9:30, you have the ability to have that type of conversation with them and go, hey, you know what? We talked about that earlier. You know, you're in that area right now where it's kind of like a cavity in a tooth. It doesn't really hurt that bad, but you know, if you wait too long, then you end up having to get a root canal, and it ends up costing you more for this reason, this reason, this reason, and this reason. So you should be able to give like 3 or 4 reasons why it's going to cost them more and why it's going to create more pain, right?